keep seeing this meme on Instagram that's basically, you're just gonna let March come back after what it did last year, and that is really the first time I'm realizing, like, it has been a year. Like a lot of people, I have been experiencing that weird time dilation. So March, I was still in the Bahamas and really isolated from news and internet, so every once in a while I would get some Wi-Fi and my friends would snap me and be like, oh man, this virus is really getting out of control, and I'd be like, I'm fine here, I'm on islands. And then the Bahamas announced they were shutting down. So April, I finally got back to the US, and very early on in the month got bilateral pneumonia, was really worried I had COVID. Drove road trip all the way home from Rhode Island to Chicago through the night. It took about 17 hours by myself. Around April, it was pretty obvious that this thing was not going away anytime soon, and I knew the cruise industry wasn't really gonna be running, so I started looking for a more temporary job. I ended up doing medical manufacturing overnights, which, I mean, I'm kind of used to nights, and there's usually a pay bump, so that was fine. But honestly, after a couple months of that, like, the work was super easy and the pay was decent, but I was super bored with it. And by like May, June, it was pretty obvious that the pandemic really wasn't going to be subsiding anytime soon. And so the more I thought about it, I realized that I had kind of been planning my 5-year exit from the cruise industry anyway. So in June, I decided to go back to college for IT. In July, I gave notice at my job, moved out, which is where I am now, in August, and then started school. During the semester, I was working doing e-learning support at a school district nearby. And thankfully the school was on trimesters, so I really only agreed to do the first because that job was terrible. I didn't pursue teaching because I didn't like it, so I don't really know why I thought basically teaching would be a good fit, and I really didn't do a good job of balancing my school load with working. So by the end of the semester, I was like just crazy stressed, crazy behind. Thankfully my professors were pretty flexible with some of the online classes, but really like the last 10 days of the semester, I did weeks worth of work. Like, one of my classes, there were 7 modules. I did 6 of the 7 in the last 10 days of the semester, which was insane. I don't know why I do that to myself. And then my school does a January term, so I really only got like December 20th through January 3rd off for winter break, which I really don't recommend, but I did get a whole class out of the way in January. And despite the crazy pace and the things I do to myself, I managed to get a 3.8, which is the best grades I've had maybe in my life, maybe since like 3rd grade or something insane. But generally, I really like my program and the things I'm learning. I'm doing really well now too, 2nd semester. And the best part is that I'm graduating in December already. On top of that, I am in the process of getting an IT job that is going to start basically the week that finals end. So I'm going to have a job all of this summer, and then it's going to go a little bit into the fall, but I only need 2 more classes. I'm in a private school, so they require a religious studies class, which when I was in college the first time around, I went to a public school, did not require that. This past month, I grew this terrible attempt at a beard that I'm going to get rid of very soon. Boom, I actually did something I said I would do. Speaking of my unfulfilled promises, I do still have so much footage of all of my trips around the Bahamas and the Caribbean in general. I might actually get around to editing that and uploading it. I have so much free time on my hands now, which is something I forgot that college students just have. Like, especially since I'm taking a few months off of work, I just have time for hobbies and like watching TV. And so hopefully that means that I can spend a little bit less time on Netflix, a little bit more time actually going through that footage. And now I really don't have an excuse, because I used to be able to be like, it's so hard and annoying to edit using iMovie on the iPhone, which is true, but I just got a new MacBook with the M1 chip, which is, the battery life on that thing is absolutely insane. I'm not going to be too much of a nerd, but like, I am an IT student, so and I'm wearing a NASA shirt. Definitely nerd status. I didn't realize how potentially obnoxious this mirror wall would be. Maybe I'll try to frame it differently next time, but I am way too lazy to refilm any of that.